really, really bad. Yeah.
Could have had $7 million. Could have been sitting on $7 million. But he wanted to pretend to be a big shot. Get a big warehouse. Okay. What are we at?
95 minutes.
Let's see if Riley has anything. Hey, Riley, are you there? Oh, wait, I know what I want to do.
Never mind,
Riley. You're up next. I've got more Maddox leaks. Are you interested in those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the yeah.
Just released.
Uh-huh.
New Maddox leaks. Okay. Here we go. Oh my. It's a lot.
Oh no.
This is you and Maddox went on a double date apparently.
Mm.
Do you know?
I didn't
do you remember that?
Yeah, I've
You
tried to block it out, but
Well, he's talking about it.
Damn it!
So you should have got out in front of it.
I know.
Now he's going to talk. Now he's going to spill all the details about it.
So last week I told you all about how Sean is the world's worst house guest. Fanboy played it for some reason. Some friend you got there, Sean. Anyhow, now I will tell you about how even when I plan on being nowhere near him, he ruins my fucking life. I had a hot date with this burn victim babe. No pun intended. At a Chinese place called the Eagle Rock Green Dragon. Now, it may have food from China, but it was my Vietnam. Fuck you, Sean.
We got to get this in before it's illegal to do.
The place was nice. The only problem was the ride was mostly uphill and I had to lock my bike up like a few Parthenons away from it. Still, I managed to get there before my date. I managed to browse the menu briefly before I noticed the table sitting across from me, Sean and his girlfriend, or maybe a hooker. You can never be too sure with Sean. I tried to hide behind my menu before he noticed me. Almost immediately, he started doing that whisper shout thing. Maddox, Maddox, Maddox! Making a scene to get my attention. Maddox. Look over here, you bald bitch! His girlfriend shouted at me.
Oh, your girlfriend said that. Okay.
Eventually, I gave in and acknowledged Sean. I looked over at his table. He held up the salt shaker and pointed at the S. He mouthed that the S was for Super Sean. Then he picked up the pepper shaker and pointed at the P. He mouthed that the P was for pedophile and pointed at me. He then took the salt shaker while making kung fu noises and knocked the top off the pepper shaker. He even said fatality like in Mortal Kombat. Sean had covered his own table with pepper. His date clapped like he did a magic trick and said it was so cool that he decapitated that pervert. The waitress bowed at him. I guess Sean did an actual Asian tradition or something.
So funny. Yeah.
My date finally arrived. She was sexy, but like I said, she did have some pretty noticeable burns. Not on her chest, thank God. She had some big old boobies and a cross hanging in between them. I tried to flex my Bible knowledge. That seemed like an easy in. I was angling to make some kind of Adam and Eve joke, but I couldn't stop thinking about Adam and Eve's kids having sex with each other. Then she excused herself to go to the bathroom. Sean left his table to come talk to me. He asked me, what the fuck is up with her skin? Is she trans? No, Sean, she is a burn victim, I said. I can't believe I had to clarify that to a grown man. If she's not trans, why are you on a date with her, Maddox? He laughed. Then he pushed our tables together, making the rest of the evening the worst double date ever.
Why are you on a date with him?
These are so fucking funny.
Sean got out some tape and tried to tape my eyes, you know, to make them Chinese. He insisted we would get a discount. I refused. Thank God none of the staff was nearby when he tried to pull that shit. We finally got our food. Before I could eat one of my dumplings, Sean grabbed 2 of them and put them on his own date's plate. I lost my mind. I yelled at him. Why the fuck would you do that? In reply, Sean, while winking at my date, said, because I am a gentleman. My date and several other female patrons swooned. I think there's something in the water in LA that makes the women like this. Sean took a sip of his drink and spat it out. Pepsi, he yelled. His girlfriend grabbed the glass and threw it across the restaurant. She shouted, are you trying to poison him?
Pepsi!
Of course, the staff asked us to pay and leave. Sean slid the check over to me. You're the best-selling author, he said with a smirk.
Okay.
So my date, Sean, and his girlfriend exited the restaurant while I sorted out the check. It took a while. The staff came back angry. My card had been declined. They surrounded me. I felt like a Korean in a Chinese village. I ended up washing dishes for a bit, then I got to leave. When I got out, Sean had one of those tiny skateboards, you know, the ones that you pilot with your fingers. He had one and was doing tricks on my date's tits while making car noises. Sean's girlfriend was urging him to be careful, like he was doing actually dangerous Tony Hawk stunts. I cleared my throat and Sean finally noticed me. He said, "I sure took my sweet time. I had enough." It was time for the evening to end. However, my date had taken an Uber to the restaurant, and like I said, my bike was pyramids away.
Okay.
Sean pulled up in his car, his girlfriend and my date got in. Unfortunately, it was a 4-seater, and Sean had his lesbian Paul guitar in one of those child safety seats, so there was no room for me. I asked Sean if I could sit and hold the guitar, and
he thinks you're using a slur when you describe it, so he's retelling the story without the slur.
These are amazing adventures.
Yeah, they really are.
At me. Then I asked if I could get in the trunk and he could drop me and my date off at my bike. He said, fine. I opened the trunk and a bunch of empty Diet Cokes fell out. There was no room for me. Sean was into recycling. By my count, he had $200 worth of cans back there. Sean had forgotten about them, but apparently he liked to take cans to the supermarket to do that whole recycle for money thing. I asked if we could just dump the cans since I paid for dinner and then he wouldn't owe me. He refused. Said recycling was too important. He also seemed to think if he recycled enough Diet Coke cans, the Coca-Cola company would give him a fighter jet. I'm pretty sure that's a Pepsi thing, but he wouldn't listen. So I walked while they drove to where I told them I left the bike.
Okay, let's see how the exciting conclusion.
I finally reached my bike, or more precisely where I left it, and the Sean Mobile was waiting for me. My bike was gone. Sean immediately had theories on what type of guy stole my bike. I'll spare you the racist details. I asked my date to get out of the car. I suggested we take a cab back to my place. She declined. Sean was giving her a ride back to hers. Sure. Sean called me a slur and drove off, running a red light. I didn't have enough money for a cab or Uber, so I took the subway. I ended up sitting on a heroin needle. A few days later, I went to McDonald's. I had saved up to treat myself. I ordered my Happy Meal and waited. By coincidence, Sean entered a few minutes after me. I was ready to let him have it. I confronted him. He started screaming. Bald guy is here to meet a 12-year-old boy. He's here to meet a 12-year-old boy. 3 customers of color leapt into action and kicked my ass. As I was beaten into the tile floor, Sean left with my order.
God.
Wow. You ruined his date.
I really should give the guy a break every once in a while, you know? I mean,
you don't want to do fingerboards on
in hindsight, it was pretty rude. God,
this guy wanted to call in too.
Those are funny.
Yeah, he's in here.
Those are funny.
All right, Riley, let's see what this guy wants. All right, Riley, what do you want?